The camera zooms in on a bustling city square in the middle of a sunny afternoon. The warm, golden sunlight shines down, casting soft shadows on the busy streets. People are everywhere enjoying their day. Families walk along the sidewalks, laughing and chatting. Some are heading to the park, while others are stopping at the food vendors scattered around, buying snacks like hot dogs, pretzels, and ice cream cones. The sound of children playing and people talking fills the air. It's the kind of day that makes you smile, a perfect mix of peaceful and happy. Everyone is in a good mood. But in a dark, quiet alley, something is stirring. A group of 5 men stand there watching the crowds of people. They look out of place, their dark clothes and tough postures making them stand out from the rest of the people in the square. Their leader is a tall man with a shaved head and lots of tattoos on his arms and neck. His face is stern, eyes narrowed as he surveys the scene around him. The gang members are standing in a tight group, whispering to each other, looking for trouble. The leader's name is Kyle. He's the kind of guy who thinks he can push people around just because he's bigger or meaner. His eyes scan the people in the square, but they stop when they see a man sitting on a bench, relaxing and enjoying an ice cream cone. The man is wearing big sunglasses and a simple shirt with jeans, but there's something about him that catches Kyle's attention. It's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of the most famous actors in the world. But to Kyle and his gang, he's just another guy to pick on. The leader of the gang, Kyle, grits his teeth and mutters under his breath, "Look at them. Thinking they're better than us. Just sitting there, enjoying their day like they own the place." His voice is filled with anger, a deep sense of resentment. He turns to his gang. "Let's show him who's boss." The other gang members nod in agreement. They look excited at the idea of causing trouble. Kyle takes a deep breath, making sure his gang knows they're about to do something bad. He leads the group out of the alley, his fists clenched and his jaw tight with determination. Meanwhile, The Rock remains completely unaware of what's going on. He's sitting on the park bench, enjoying the ice cream and soaking up the sun, letting the warmth wash over him. He's just a normal guy on a break, taking some time off from his busy life in the spotlight. He smiles to himself, thinking about how nice it is to have a peaceful day out in the city. He doesn't realize that trouble is about to find him. Kyle and his gang move closer, sneaking through the crowd like shadows. They're careful to stay hidden, not drawing attention to themselves. They get closer and closer, and soon they're almost standing right behind The Rock. The Rock still doesn't notice. He's too busy savoring his ice cream and enjoying the quiet of the moment. The leader, Kyle, sees his chance. He smirks and steps forward, his voice loud enough for The Rock to hear. "What's your problem, big guy?" Kyle calls out, his voice full of challenge. "You think you're better than us?" He steps closer, his face inches from The Rock's, trying to make him feel small. The Rock doesn't flinch. He doesn't even seem worried. He just looks up at Kyle with a calm expression, his sunglasses hiding his eyes. His voice is steady and cool as he replies, "No problem here. But why don't you leave these people alone?" The Rock doesn't get angry. He doesn't raise his voice. He just speaks with the kind of confidence that comes from being sure of who you are. Kyle grits his teeth. He's used to people getting scared or backing down when he talks like that. But The Rock doesn't seem scared at all. Instead, he just sits there, relaxed, his posture easy, almost like he's waiting for something to happen. Kyle's gang is starting to get nervous. They thought this would be easy. Just push around a guy who looks like he spends more time at the gym than in the real world. But now they're unsure. "Make us," Kyle sneers, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You think you're tough? You think you're better than us?" He says this with a nasty smile, trying to intimidate The Rock. His friends laugh behind him, egging him on. The gang closes in, surrounding The Rock from all sides. They're looking for a fight, ready to prove they're the ones in control. But The Rock isn't shaking. He doesn't move an inch. He just watches them closely, his eyes calm, his hands resting on his thighs. It's like he knows exactly what's coming next. Kyle is getting angrier. His face turns red as he steps closer, his fists clenched tightly at his sides. He tries to push The Rock, but The Rock doesn't move. It's like pushing against a brick wall. The gang is starting to realize that maybe they've made a big mistake. "Get him?" Kyle yells, and the gang lunges forward. But The Rock is faster. He moves like lightning, dodging their wild attacks. He grabs the first thug who tries to swing a punch and twists his arm behind his back, making him yelp in pain. The thug stumbles backward, looking shocked and surprised. He never expected to be caught so easily. Kyle's face twists in frustration. "Oh, you think you're tough now?" He spits, his anger rising. "Let's see how tough you really are." The gang doesn't back down. They move in again, desperate to take down The Rock. But the more they attack, the more it becomes clear that they're out of their league. The Rock is calm, almost bored, like he's waiting for the right moment to show just how powerful he really is. He doesn't get rattled. He doesn't get angry. He just does what he knows best. One of the gang members pulls out a chain and swings it toward the Rock's head. But the Rock is too quick. He catches the chain midair and yanks it, sending the thug stumbling to the ground. The other thug tries to grab a broken bottle, but the Rock is already on him, grabbing the bottle from his hand and tossing it away. Each move is fast, smooth, and precise. Another thug tries to sneak up behind the Rock. But the Rock spins around, grabbing him by the collar and throwing him into the air like he's a ragdoll. The thug lands hard on the ground, groaning and clutching his stomach. He's out of the fight. The gang is starting to panic. They realize they don't stand a chance. But Kyle, being the stubborn leader he is, refuses to give up. He pulls out a metal baton and motions for his friends to do the same. The gang now has weapons, chains, broken bottles, and metal sticks, but it doesn't seem to matter. The Rock is still one step ahead of them. The gang charges at him once again. But this time the Rock isn't just dodging their attacks. He's taking control. He moves like a tiger stalking its prey. With a quick leap, he jumps onto a nearby bench, then flips over the gang members, landing behind them. He grabs one of the thugs by the shoulders, lifts him high into the air, and slams him to the ground with all his strength. The thug lets out a loud grunt as the air is knocked out of his lungs. The remaining thugs look at each other in panic. They try to charge again, but they're too slow. The Rock is faster. He grabs one of the thugs by the arm, spins him around, and throws him to the side like he's nothing. He's still standing tall, his muscles rippling with power and his eyes locked on the gang. "You guys have a lot of heart," The Rock says, his voice deep and commanding. "But no brains." The gang members are on the ground, groaning in pain, their bodies bruised and beaten. They look up at The Rock with a mixture of fear and respect. They know they've lost. There's no way they can win against someone like him. As the gang members begin to crawl away, defeated and ashamed, the sound of sirens fills the air. Police cars pull up to the square, their blue and red lights flashing. Officers get out quickly, rushing toward the scene. When the police see The Rock standing tall, their eyes widen. They recognize him immediately. The lead officer, a tough veteran of the force, walks up to The Rock with a respectful nod. "Mr. Johnson," the officer says, his voice full of admiration. "You handled this situation perfectly. You're a real hero." The Rock stands tall and nods in return. "Just doing what's right," he says, his expression serious. The gang members, still trying to recover, stare at The Rock with wide eyes. They can't believe what just happened. Kyle, who had been so confident just moments ago, now looks terrified. "Wait, you mean The Rock?" Kyle stammers, his voice shaking. "That's right," The Rock says with a smirk, his teeth flashing in a dangerous grin. "And you just messed with the wrong guy." Kyle stumbles backward, eyes wide with fear. The rest of the gang follows him, retreating as fast as they can. They know they've made a huge mistake. The police quickly move in, cuffing the gang members with ease. They march to the police cars, their heads hung low in defeat. Kyle shakes his head in disbelief. "We didn't stand a chance, did we?" he mutters, the realization sinking in. "No," The Rock replies calmly. "Not against me." Weeks later, the gang is back in the park. But this time they're not causing trouble. They're dressed in orange vests, cleaning up trash and scrubbing off graffiti. They're doing community service, working under the watchful eye of a supervisor. They don't talk much. The memory of their defeat by The Rock still weighs heavily on them. Just as they're starting to feel like they're doing the right thing, a powerful voice calls out from behind them. "Remember me?" The gang members freeze. They turn around and see The Rock standing there, smiling, looking as strong as ever. Kyle looks up, his eyes wide with respect. "Mr. Johnson," he says, his voice quiet. "We were wrong. You could have locked us up, but you didn't. We were idiots. Thank you." The Rock watches them for a moment, then nods. "I believe in second chances," he says, his voice firm. He looks at the gang, his expression serious but not unkind. "I want you to remember something," he says, his tone filled with wisdom. "The world is tough. But that doesn't mean you have to be tough in the wrong way. Be kind to each other. Because that's what real strength is." The gang members stand quietly, listening. They know they've been given a second chance and they don't want to waste it. "We're all in this together," The Rock says, his voice filled with authority. "And that's what really matters." With that, he turns and walks away, leaving the gang members standing there, deep in thought, reflecting on the lessons they've just learned. If you enjoyed this story, share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories filled with adventure, mystery, and excitement. Your support means the world and it helps keep these stories coming. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.